Hi, I'm Teddy Hicks, and I want to talk to you for a minute today about why self improvement doesn't always feel great and why you shouldn't give up even when it doesn't feel great. And yes, I am going to hold the fuzzy microphone in my hand because it turns out the sound quality is a lot better than when it's up against my chest. So here you go. I'm officially one of those content creators holding the fuzzy microphone, and it's adorable still. You make a decision to improve something in your life, right? It could be something as simple as like you're going to pack your lunch every day before you go to work, or you're going to get up an hour earlier in the morning instead of hitting your snooze button 15 times and make some change in your life that you think is really going to help in some way, right? And so you go to do it, and you know there's a temporary sacrifice. You're expecting that, right? Like you know it's going to be a little bit harder to get up in the morning. You know it's going to be take a little bit more time to pack your lunch. You're expecting that. You're expecting a small amount of sacrifice that's going to have a payoff that's worth it for you in some way, whatever you've decided to do. And then what happens is you start doing the thing, and it turns out there's other pitfalls along the way, right? Like you realize that packing your lunch every day doesn't just mean that you have to take an extra 10 minutes in the morning to do it, but that you also have to go to the grocery store more often and buy the food to pack in your lunch, and you have more dishes to do when you get home from work at night. Or if you've decided to get up earlier and get started on your day earlier, you do that for a little while. You were expecting the sacrifice of the difficulty of getting out of bed earlier, but you didn't realize that meant you also had to go to bed earlier the night before and you weren't going to be able to watch as much TV as you wanted or whatever it is, right? So there's like these other things that pop up along the way that make it very easy to give up on the thing that you decided to do, right? Like that those are excuses. It is so, oh my God, this is too hard. I'm not going to do it anymore. I wasn't expecting it to be this difficult. I wasn't expecting to have to sacrifice so much in order to make this positive change in my life. And so I just want to encourage you to remember that these little things are not the whole answer. And I think we trick ourselves into thinking that, like, when we're going to make a positive change in our life, we're going to do something that we want to do to improve some area of our life where we're struggling. And we think, oh, there's that feeling, that exquisite feeling of control, right? You have a plan. You're going to do something. You're going to be better. It's going to change everything. You're going to feel so much better when this happens. And then you don't feel 100% better. There's still some discomfort along the way. Even though there's still a payoff for making the change, you're still having to go over some hurdles to make that change in your life. And your brain wants to go back to the status quo. Your brain doesn't want you to make this change because that's like going uphill. Keeping the status quo is like cruising along, coasting along, no effort at all. And making a change is difficult. You have to think about it a lot more. You have to actually do things differently in your life. And your brain doesn't like that. Your brain wants you to go back to what's familiar and easy, and you don't have to think about it. You don't have the pathway yet for the new activity. And so it feels a lot harder than it's going to be if you did it for the long term and it was just a habit you didn't have to think about anymore. But prepare yourself when you make these changes in your life for there to be stumbling blocks along the way. Prepare yourself that it's not going to be quite as easy as you think, and it's not going to feel 1,000% good, right? It's not going to be all good. This is not the magic bullet that it's going to turn your entire life around and make everything better all of a sudden. And I encourage you, before you make a change in your life, to actually sit down and write those things down. I'm going to make this positive change in my life. Let's just use the packing your lunch for work example because it's pretty straightforward and it would improve your life in many ways if you could do it. Make a list of the pros and cons. The pros are you're going to save money so you don't eat out and buy McDonald's every day. You're going to eat way better. You're going to feel better. You're not going to have to use the gas in your car to run out and grab something. You're going to have more time. All of the things that are going to be better if you pack your lunch every day. And also make a list of the cons. You know what? I am going to have to go to the grocery store more often. Let me plan for that. And I am going to have a few more dishes to do when I get home at night. Let me expect that. Let me plan for that. Because I want to remember that even though there are these hurdles, the payoffs are many. I want to make this change in my life. And even though it might be a little bit more uncomfortable than I anticipated, I am already know what to expect, right? Here's all the things they're going to maybe crop up and make me want to quit, but I know because I'm prepared, right? I did this work. I made this quick list and I can refer back to it and go, you know what? I remember all of these benefits of making this change. And there's just a few little cons, there's a few little shortcomings that I'm willing to continue to move through in order to continue making this positive change in my life. Because it really is about showing up for yourself, right? It really is about saying, I'm not going to let myself get derailed by this little BS that's popping up along the way because my brain wants to do that and I'm tired of that. I'm tired of doing that. I don't want to be that person anymore who lets the tiniest little roadblock totally throw me off course. I am going to continue showing up for myself, even though there are these little challenges along the way, these little things that I have to overcome to stay on the path that I've chosen for myself. And when you're prepared for it, you know what to expect. It feels a lot easier. And eventually, actually pretty quickly, you will make that new neural pathway in your brain. So the thing that you're trying to do, the new thing that right now feels difficult and uncomfortable, will be a heck of a lot easier, right? That'll be a habit. Like, oh, remember when I didn't used to pack my lunch anymore for work, and now I do it every single day, and it's not a big deal because I've created that habit in my life, and it's super easy, and I have realized all the benefits, right? Like, I'm now reaping the rewards for this small change that I made, and I let myself continue with it by making this list and preparing myself for the little challenges I was going to have to face along the way. And I did it. Look at me. This is how I make positive change in my life. There is not one thing that is going to make you feel 1,000% better. There's not one thing that is going to make your life suddenly work. You have to do all of these little steps, and you have to figure out how to continue with them and make them sustainable for you, and not let yourself get derailed by the little tiny things that crop up and make your brain go, oh, see, we knew this was going to be too hard, let's just not do it, right? Let's just give up on this thing. We decided we don't want to do it anymore. That's when you need to, take a step back and say, hey, brain, listen, I know this is a little bit hard right now, but it won't always be. And we know, because we have this list, that the benefits of doing this thing far outweigh these little challenges that are cropping up. We can do this because this is the kind of person we are now, right? We make positive change. So I hope that's helpful for you today. Remember that the little things that you're trying to do to improve your life won't always be 100% comfortable, won't always be 100% easy, but that doesn't mean you can't make them sustainable for you and make them easier down the road by preparing yourself for the little challenges that will come up, being real clear about it, and reminding yourself that you can move past them. You can move past those little hurdles and stay on the path that you've chosen. Have a great one. Thanks for listening. Bye.